Morning. Just to give you a rundown, I met this morning with the Department of Justice officials here, agents of the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, the U.S. Marshal Service. We talked about the priorities that we'll be having. We've had a meeting with the Joint Task Force West. We had a good briefing from them. General Kelly and I did. We also met with the immigration judges and ICE lawyers and others to discuss the process of law involving people who've entered the country unlawfully, and we just got a briefing from the Customs and Border Patrol officers about the status of the border so far. So it's been very helpful to me. There are a lot of details that I thought I knew and I didn't fully understand, and it improves my ability to function. So it's an honor to be here with General Kelly. He's a man of integrity, proven leadership. He's making a difference in an agency that's had a hard time, frankly, in the last number of years. And he's reforming and recharging their morale and leadership ability. General, I congratulate you on that. It's certainly one of the largest departments in the entire government and one of our absolutely most important. So to the brave men and women who secure our border, you have both my sincere thanks and my admiration. It's your service that not only protects our country, but establishes our sovereignty, and we are a nation, and you serve each day the national interest. As I learned firsthand last week in Nogales, it is here on this sliver of land where we establish a beachhead against the cartels, against the transnational street gangs like MS-13 and the human traffickers. This is the ground. This is ground zero. This is the front lines, and this is where we are making our stand, your stand on behalf of the people of our country. But through the strong leadership of President Trump and Secretary Kelly, we've already made incredible progress to reduce illegal immigration in America. Last month was the lowest month for immigration illegally into our country in 17 years. That is a remarkable thing to accomplish. For those who still seek to violate our laws and enter the country illegally, let me be very clear. Don't come. Please don't come. When you are caught, you will be detained, adjudicated, and deported. Do not come unlawfully. Wait your time. For those who've committed crimes and gang-affiliated or previously have attempted to enter unlawfully, you will be prosecuted, imprisoned, and then deported. It is that simple. We have a lawful system of immigration. You should do what over 1 million people do each year and apply, wait their term, and come lawfully to the United States. We at the Justice Department are in full support of the Department of Homeland Security, and pursuant to the President's executive orders, we have recently taken decisive action in this arena. To end the lawlessness and we are going to end the catch and release policy. We have surged immigration judges to the border to adjudicate the claims of those who've been arrested. And I have charged each of the 94 United States Attorney's offices to make criminal immigration enforcement a priority and have provided specific guidance on how these cases are to be adjudicated. We're talking about drugs, human smuggling, transportation, reentry after having been deported, and document fraud and the like. As of Tuesday, each United States Attorney's office now has a border security coordinator who will be personally responsible for overseeing these criminal enforcement efforts in their districts and will be reporting back to me on the progress. In addition, we now have streamlined the immigration judge's hiring process and to deal with the large backlog of immigration cases that we have inherited. We will be bringing an additional 50 immigration judges online this year. Matter of fact, we've made a big step toward that already, and 75 next year. We will attack this backlog and see these cases are adjudicated properly and promptly. We will maintain our borders. We will enforce Congress's duly enacted laws, and we will protect our communities from the scourge of cartels and gangs. These are not merely aspirational words, but these are bedrock principles of sovereignty, and we intend to complete them. We cannot and will not allow the cartels and gangs to dominate a single block in this country or a single street corner. And once again, I want to thank the brave men and women of the federal, state, and local law enforcement who sacrifice so much for the benefit of us all. I want to be very clear. We have your back, law officers, and you have our thanks. General Kelly, thank you, sir. We are honored to be able to provide the support of the Department of Justice to your fine department. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General, and I particularly thank you for the comments directed at the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security. And like you, I have the privilege of working with some of the finest Americans there are in our country, and I thank you. In our system of government, the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice enforce the laws passed by the United States Congress. It's as simple as that. That includes our immigration laws, of course. These laws exist to keep our people safe and our nation sovereign. Both the Attorney General and I are serious about border security and enforcing our immigration laws. In accordance with the executive order signed earlier this year and the law, we have ended the dangerous catch and release program. We have significantly increased detainers for deportation, and we have arrested more criminal aliens. We will continue to expand our approach to deterring illegal immigration. Everything's on the table in that regard. That includes our approach of prosecuting anyone who pays traffickers to smuggle people into the country, especially those who smuggle in children, including family members who pay to have children smuggled into this country. Human smuggling across our border puts individuals, especially children, at great risk of assault, abuse, and even death at the hands of the smugglers. People who illegally cross our borders do not respect the laws of our nation. We want to get the lawbreakers off our streets and out of our country for the good of every one of our communities. Under the laws of our nation, under the laws of our nation, migrants get a ruling from an immigration judge who determines if someone is subject to removal. Historically, it was a slow, highly manipulated process with a massive backlog. That meant overcrowded detention facilities and long waits before justice could be served. DHS and DOJ are working together closer than ever before to improve this process. At DHS, we're working to expand our detention capacity and process immigration cases as close to the border as is humanly possible. DOJ has already deployed additional immigration judges from the interior of the country to handle border-related cases. This means detained immigrants aren't biding their time in the United States. They're not using our government's resources. It means we can move them through our system more efficiently, less bed space, shorter waits, and faster repatriation to their countries of origin, if that's what the law allows. We at DHS support the Department of Justice's efforts to hire additional immigration judges, and I thank you for that, Mr. Attorney General, and their commitment as a department to holding those judges accountable for docket management. It's on us to enforce the law, sir, and you know that, and you're committed to that as I am. And I'm proud to say we're doing our part. I am honored to serve with the men and women at DHS who do so much every day to keep our country safe and strong.
Thank you, General. Good. So we'll take a few questions.
Mr. Attorney General, Mr. Secretary, I guess this question addresses both of you. I'm sure you've been briefed or told that El Paso is in fact one of the safest cities in the United States. Have you taken into consideration how what you're saying here, Mr. Attorney General, by calling this area a beachhead, how it might affect our economic sector, and how it might affect the national perspective of El Paso and maybe the border in general?
Well, this entire border is a sliver of land that represents a beachhead for first resistance to illegal entry and then criminal entry. I have talked with FBI and others here since I've been here. You still do have a great record on crime. There may be some uptick a little bit, but basically El Paso has done a really good job of maintaining a lower crime rate, violent crime rate than a lot of people in a lot of cities in the country, and certainly a lot better than across the border. But I also know that there are gangs here, quite a number of gangs in the neighborhood, and if those are allowed to expand and grow, they'll tend to be more violent, more aggressive, and move more illegal narcotics into our country. And we're losing 140 people a day from drug overdose, so it's a big problem for us.
Secretary Kelly and Secretary Sessions, I'm sorry, Maria from Telemundo. I have a question. As you have said, this is the lowest we have in illegal immigration. Do you still think it's necessary to build that wall? Wouldn't it be more efficient to invest that money in technology or human resources at the ports of entry, for example?
It's absolutely essential that we build a wall, but that wall has to be combined with technology, no doubt about it. Most importantly to the security of our southern border are the men and women in CBP, ICE, and all the rest of the DHS professionals, not to mention those individuals that serve our country in the Department of Homeland Security. So yes, we need to continue on this initiative to reinforce the southwest border with barriers. But as I've said so many times, I mean, the real objective is to push further south, working with great partners like Mexico, Central American republics, certainly all of the Central American countries, as well as Colombia. Great partners to work with, and together, I believe, we can stem the tide of drugs as well as illegal immigration. The point right now is why immigrants are not making it to the United States is because of what we're saying we're going to do, but just as importantly, what we're already doing. And those individuals that might migrate here from the Central American republics are staying at home, where they're safer, frankly, not getting on this terribly dangerous network and coming into the United States. There is a legal way to come to the United States and a legal way to remain here, and that's what we need to enforce.
Secretary Kelly, are you certain you have all the records involving Juan Manuel Montes? He's a DACA man who was deported, and if so, why haven't those been turned over to his lawyers?
There was a time in his life that this individual was a DACA registrant, but he gave that up by his behavior and by his illegal actions. He's no longer covered by the DACA arrangement that President Obama brought in, and so he's now, to the best of my knowledge, he has been returned to Mexico. So he once was covered by DACA, but because of his behavior, his illegal behavior, he lost that status, and now he has been removed to his country of origin.
Secretary Kelly, a report released by the Inspector General today stated that some agents and the Immigration and Customs agents are having a hard time keeping track of all the immigrants that are facing deportation that are out of jail. I'm wondering if you are aware of that and if there is any plan in the future to address that issue. I guess it has to do with the overload of cases. And in regards to the question of Montes, are there more DACA recipients that are facing the same possibility?
Make it short now, because I've already forgotten the first question.
Okay, let's just talk about the caseloads.
Caseloads are massive. I mean, you know, we have not done as a nation for the previous 8 years any real enforcement, not any real enforcement in terms of our border, as well as those individuals that are within our country that are breaking the law and are illegal to be removed. So yes, the system is overwhelmed because now we're doing just exactly that, enforcing the law. And men and women like you see standing here right now, and thousands more like them. There are unbelievably dedicated Americans, law enforcement all, police all, are overwhelmed. But you know, they don't mind doing their job, working hard. They don't mind now that they're able to do their job within the law.
Are there more cases like Montes?
You talked about adding immigration judges to the immigration court system. What about the federal criminal courts, where the sentencing and the prosecution of felony reentries actually happen? And with the Albuquerque Journal, the Southern New Mexico judges have the largest criminal caseloads in the nation because of those prosecutions and are kind of at a loss.
Well, that's a good question. first of all, many of these cases are rather easy to dispose of and often result in guilty pleas and deportations. So judges, it's not unusual. In fact, it's true that most border districts have high caseloads per judge. But we could be at a breaking point. If we need more federal judges, we'll seek them. I've told our federal prosecutors if we need more people to prepare those cases and present them in an effective way before the court, we will do that. And the secretary has indicated, and his people told us earlier, they're going to work extremely hard to make sure their paperwork is good, so it leaves less complications when a case gets to court, and hopefully they'll be disposed of quickly.
Attorney General, the protesters across the street.
Hold on, last
Mr.
question.
You said crime reduction overall is one of your top priorities in the department. And last week we heard from CIA Director Mike Pompeo really discussing the scourge of WikiLeaks and Chelsea Manning's leaks. Can you talk about whether it's a priority for your department to arrest Assange once and for all, and whether you think you can take him back?
We are going to step up our effort and already are stepping up our efforts on all leaks. This is a matter that's gone beyond anything I'm aware of. We have professionals that have been at the security business of the United States for many years that are shocked by the number of leaks, and some of them are quite serious. So yes, it is a priority. We've already begun to step up our efforts, and whenever a case can be made, we will seek to put some people in jail.
Attorney General,
General?
Go ahead. No, I'm good with your answer, sir. I think, was that the last one?
That was it.
Okay, thank you
Thanks,
all.
everyone.
Thank you.
Trip.